LinkedIn, it's a caucus of fart sniffers, a hellscape disguised as a necessary resource for young professionals.
I don't agree with that.
Well, you're not a young professional.
But I am a fart sniffer with digger at my feet.
You're not young and you're not professional.
Rude.
Strap yourself in for Keeping It Real with Jack and Raoul.
Welcome back, Keepers. This is another episode of Keeping It Real with Jack and Ral. I am Gabrielle Dolan.
And I am Jack Phillips. Welcome back, Keepers.
Welcome back. Now, we have got, this episode is all about LinkedIn lessons. So if you don't use LinkedIn, stay tuned
Don't
because we're going to talk about why it's good or why we rate it. We're also going to talk about why people don't use it.
And a lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't. And then we're going to talk about, well, if you're going to use it, how do you actually use it?
And if you aren't using it and don't even want to use it, listen in, because I think by the end of the episode you might see some value in giving it a crack.
Yeah. Well, you might know someone you want to share this episode with.
True.
Hey,
A young professional.
A young professional, a fart sniffer.
No, that's the LinkedIn people.
Oh, right.
Fart
Okay.
sniffing. They're the caucus of fart sniffers.
Right, okay. Before we get into this episode, after last week's episode of entering and re-entering the workforce, I did a little poll on LinkedIn.
Look at you
Yeah,
go.
look at me doing a poll on LinkedIn.
Go you.
So I asked the question, in your experience, what do you think is the most challenging? Entering the workforce for the first time, re-entering, or both the same? What do you think the results were? What do you think
I reckon
most people answered?
re-entering the workforce.
Re-entering. How much do you reckon by? You're right.
Oh, okay. I think by 20% more than entering the workforce.
Well, it was a lot more. It was like 50%
Wow.
more. So people rated re-entering the workforce 70%.
Gee.
Responded that, and there was about 15 and 15 for.
Yeah. I wonder if that's because the majority of people on LinkedIn are more experienced professionals, perhaps older, more sort of, Gen X.
Yeah, maybe they can't remember the time they entered the workforce. But
Hang on. Actually, I think there is another point to be made, and that is even if you are not entering the workforce for the first time, re-entering the workforce, you could be doing that a number of times just by changing careers.
Yeah, absolutely. So
As well as caring responsibilities.
Maybe it's more recent, or maybe it
Interesting.
actually is. When you enter the workforce, you sort of you don't know what you don't know, and you're re-entering, and maybe a bit more. Well, the question was, do you find it more challenging?
Well, what's interesting, and I read some great research on this just recently, and we'll create an episode around this, the future of work, is that people are going to have 50-year careers, not 30-year careers. Yeah. So people are going to continue to re-enter the workforce in different guises.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we got a lot of good feedback from that. So if you haven't had a listen, have a listen. So LinkedIn, why do we rate LinkedIn, Jack?
Oh, look, it's my favourite social media platform, and I'm on everything. Bit of a social media, slag. I love it.
It's a bit harsh.
Well,
a slag. That is such
I'm a social media
80s,
slag.
An 80s word,
slag.
isn't it?
Why do I like it? I like it because it actually serves so many purposes for me personally, and I think for a lot of professionals actually. Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. LinkedIn, I remember when LinkedIn first arrived.
Nana.
No, it was about 20.
I know.
20 years ago, 21
Easily.
years ago. So
Easily.
it's been around
A long
longer
time.
than any other social media platform.
Before Facebook?
Before Facebook.
I didn't realise that.
Yes. I'll just do checks on that.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah, but it was and it coincided with me leaving corporate. So
timing.
I got onto my LinkedIn profile, but
timing.
I absolutely rate it. And I think one of the I do a lot of work with people on helping them build and maintain their network and the importance of their network.
Correct.
And I think LinkedIn is one of the most easy ways to absolutely build a network, but maintain it as well.
Yep. Agree. I totally agree. There are so many, I said to you earlier that I like it for a lot of different reasons. And I guess I'm not looking for a job, but what I am doing is learning. What I am doing is connecting. What I am doing is sharing information I think might be useful to others.
Yep.
I love helping other people. So do you. That's why we do the podcast.
Yeah.
I learn a lot from other people.
Yes.
insights, industry research.
Yep.
There's so much you can do. I could spend all day on LinkedIn, which is a bit tragic, isn't it?
I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. You're normally the first person that likes or comments my posts, so you are clearly
because
spending
I'm your
a lot
friend.
of time on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But even
2003.
Thank you. So interesting.
So Keehlan's 2003.
21 years. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
What about Facebook? Can you do a quick bit of...
Well, see, I was right.
She was right. So LinkedIn's been around longest.
Bloody
challenging you. God, now we're repeating each other's words. All right.
So when you said that sharing, you get knowledge yourself, but then you can easily share it. And this is, to me, a critical way of maintaining a network.
Agree.
If you know someone and they're really into, AI, or they just want to learn about AI, and you read this really great article on AI, you send it to tag them in it.
Absolutely.
And so it's a really good way to add value to your network.
Correct. How nice is it when somebody tags you in a post because they think you'll be interested in it, or they think that you're relevant to that particular information? That's really heartwarming, yeah, and again, very generous, but it also catches your attention.
Yep.
So it's a great way, I think, to learn, to share knowledge, to hold and maintain build and maintain your network. But also there's this whole thing around personal brand, right?
Absolutely.
So you and I everybody has a personal brand, and some people poo-poo this and say, what a lot of nonsense. I challenge anyone who says that personal brand doesn't matter. Personal brand's everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually. It does. We've done an episode on that.
We have indeed.
We haven't. If you haven't listened to that episode,
correct.
Get down and do that one.
Correct.
And we've spoken about that most people recruiting for jobs look at LinkedIn as opposed to a CV.
Oh, I've said that for years.
Yes.
More people will look at your LinkedIn profile than they will your CV.
Yeah. Sometimes I have people go, can you send me a CV? It's like, who has a CV anymore?
Yeah.
Just look at my LinkedIn profile.
Start with a LinkedIn profile, and that's where recruiters do start. I can tell you now, there are over 14 million open jobs on LinkedIn at any one time. 97% of HR and recruitment professionals use LinkedIn to recruit.
Yeah. And you know why? It's
become a jobs board.
It's harder to bullshit on your LinkedIn profile because it's an open format. Where you just got a CV,
absolutely,
you can probably, lie.
LinkedIn's
but it is your
relevant.
personal brand. I mean, when both of us, when we do work on personal brand with people, one of the things we say is update your LinkedIn profile
Totally
and make sure it's reflecting
who you
your
are.
brand, who you are, and where you want to be.
And I was just going to say, so yes, past experience is important. That's part of your personal brand, but also where do you want to go? Who do you want to actually find you?
Yeah.
That aspirational piece. So a lot of work I do with my coaching clients is we go and seek feedback from various stakeholders. We then look at the strengths that those stakeholders have shared about you. So this isn't your opinion of yourself. This is actually how people observe and experience you.
Yeah.
Use those strengths to then craft your personal brand narrative.
Yeah.
From that, update your personal brand on LinkedIn, your profile.
Yeah.
So there's a whole process around this. And photographs, the number of people that either don't have a photograph or have a photograph that is so old or just so not, what's the word I'm trying to look
Appropriate?
for? Not appropriate, or just not even very flattering.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
dark, perhaps not wearing something that's actually saying you are professional.
Yeah.
So simple things like that can make a huge difference.
But also too with personal brand, it's a couple of things. It's like, what do you want to be known for?
Yeah.
And therefore, when you're posting and sharing stuff, make sure it's relevant to your expertise and what are you known for. But it's also the vibe. Like I've always said to you, like you have this fun vibe on your LinkedIn, and it's humor is really important to you, and you will post some serious stuff, but you will also post some fun stuff as well. And so that's reflecting your brand.
And I would say you also use humour at least once or twice a week, as well as some really
I use
great factual things.
a lot of the posts I do are stories, because my whole is around storytelling. So I reflect that by sharing a lot of stories on LinkedIn.
And how good. So the people that then connect with you, that follow you, that then share your posts are people who are also seeing the value in stories and storytelling. So you can see how it becomes a great way to grow a personal brand. I always said for me, the things I'm interested in are leadership, marketing, and coaching. So those are my 3 pillars. Those are the things that I tend to write a lot about. I link stories to those. I share insights and information I know, but I always try and make it fun because life is so bloody serious. And I also think the caucus of fart sniffers that person wrote about in the Michigan Daily, which is what I was referring to earlier, I think that comes from people being too up their arse and too serious.
Yeah.
And those are not our people.
No. And look, you're going to – you walk into a room and there's going to be some people like that. So of course there's going to be some people like that because there's people like that everywhere. But, that doesn't mean you have to be like that.
No, correct. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And I also think there's something about bringing a bit of lightness and joy to what is a serious platform. It is a professional platform, professional networking platform. But again, just to be relevant and to be real.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
what we're about.
Yeah.
So,
and we've touched on job interviews. I mean, if you're looking for a job or going for a job, it's a great way to do research on the company or,
It is.
To find out. Like you can do a search, who works there, and you might go, oh, my God, I didn't know they worked there. You know someone that works there.
Hey, Jack, you know somebody. Can you tell me a little bit about them or can you connect me to them? I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will say, oh, I see that you're connected to Keehlan, and I'll go, who? And I'll go, oh, yes, Keehlan is following me, but I actually don't know who Keehlan is. But I'm really happy to reach out to Keehlan on your behalf if you want to be connected.
Yeah.
Because hopefully Keehlan knows who I am if he's following me, and if he doesn't, well then great way to still start a conversation, right?
Exactly. So again, you can do research, but also if you are active on it and it's in your profile and you're increasing your reach, that's when a lot of opportunities can come to you. So you could be headhunted via LinkedIn. There's so many people
I
that
have
get
been tapped on the
via
shoulder
LinkedIn.
a number of times in my career by a recruiter on LinkedIn. Boy, it's flattering.
Yeah.
And the first thing I say is, oh, how do you know me? How did you find me? They never say.
Yeah.
They, sometimes it's a tip off. Other times they've been looking on a criteria, and I've obviously been part of that criteria. But it is flattering when somebody taps you on the shoulder. And why wouldn't you want to be tapped on the shoulder? Because what if that opportunity is a great one that you hadn't thought of before? You may be really happy where you are, but what if this is a better opportunity?
Yeah, and an opportunity is not only a job. An opportunity could be someone seeing your profile and you get invited to speak at a panel.
I love
or
that.
Speak at a conference. So it's just like, it's putting yourself out there.
Well, that's business development opportunities.
Yeah, well, yes. We're very active because we run our own practices and business. So
I post at least once a day.
Yeah.
6 days a week. I often give myself a sabbatical on Sunday. That's when I'm going to church, not.
Hungover.
Did you know 16.2% of LinkedIn users use it daily?
Right.
It's not a lot, is it?
Not a lot.
So you and I are in that 16.2%. So people, if you do want to be noticed on LinkedIn for whatever your purpose is, and we'll talk more about that in a moment, then 16.2% is a small number of people who are using or are active on LinkedIn daily. So you could stand out.
Absolutely. And I post daily, probably my own content, but then repost others' contents with my thoughts on it.
You often do that. And I love that because, again, what you're doing is sharing other people's insights and their, research or their points of view, which is really helpful. My posts that go particularly well, definitely the ones that are a bit funny and tongue-in-cheek, but ones when I share something about either my experience in a workplace or I talk about somebody I've been coaching. Obviously, I would never, ever reveal their names, and I'll often change the gender because I don't ever want anyone to think that it's not confidential when they speak to me, but they've often shared with me something that I think, gee, other people could really value from hearing this experience. Yeah. And so we've got so much access to so much great information, but that's not just us, that's everybody.
Yeah.
It's storytelling.
Okay. So why there's people that don't use it?
Correct.
Like just
a lot of people don't use it.
So let's talk about why. And I've found, especially with Gen Z, they sort of go, oh well, I don't use it because I'm on Insta, or TikTok.
They don't see it as relevant.
They don't see it as relevant,
and that is really interesting. Because
you know what? Sorry, it may not be relevant.
Exactly where I was going, right?
Yeah, okay.
Exactly where I was going. We are of a certain demographic, and it's really easy to think, well, this bubble that we're in, everyone should be in it.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. We've both got Gen Z children who are making their way in the world and all doing really well. And they're all different, all doing their own thing, and none of the four are using it actively.
No, I made them get on it. It's like, I remember I made Alex get on it after when she was about 16 or 17, and she came to a networking event that you hosted.
Yes, at the NGV.
At the National Gallery of Victoria, and I made her get a LinkedIn profile, and I said, you've got to now connect with all those people you met, and she like begrudgingly did it.
Tiger mother.
I don't think she's ever been on it again.
Sense.
And then
Yeah.
2 years later, I made Jessie do it. And,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sure
So don't
they will.
assume it is for everyone. I get that. However, I would love to hear from some Gen Z professionals that are using it.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this or you know somebody who is using LinkedIn, maybe once or twice a week or daily, who is, under the age of 30, it would be good just to sort of hear about how they're using it and why they use it. But back to your point, so why don't people use it? I think time. I mean, I don't know about you, but it takes up a bit of my
take the
time.
time, yep.
But I love it. I prioritise
Yep.
that time because I get benefits from it. I think some people get sick of being on screens all the time.
True.
So if you're trying to have screen downtime, then you would, and you're limiting yourself to what you look at on a screen, whether you're reading books or whether you're looking at social media, maybe LinkedIn is not as a priority.
Yeah. Although I would say if you're on a lot of social media platforms and
Slag.
you haven't been bothered with LinkedIn,
That's me.
maybe 15 minutes on LinkedIn might give you more benefit than 15 minutes scrolling through TikTok.
Correct.
I would say it would. But anyway,
You would. And as Alex would say, yeah, mum,
yeah.
nod and smile.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know how to use it for impact, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah. You're right. They do. If they're not using it, like anything, if you're not using it a lot, you probably don't know how to use it.
Correct.
Or they get sick of, they're on it and then they get sick of, like people go, I get on LinkedIn and people are just posting them themselves and humble brags and being wankers
Yeah.
and I don't want to be like that. It was like, well, don't be like that.
Well, then don't be like that.
yeah.
That's that caucus of fart sniffers again that we were
Yes.
talking about before. One of the things that is a pet peeve for me on LinkedIn is when somebody is saying goodbye to their workplace. Now, there's
Right.
nothing wrong with saying goodbye to your workplace.
Okay.
But it goes, it's War and Peace. There's like 15 chapters of, and I just want to say how wonderful it all was. And I want to thank, my boss and my boss's boss, and I want to thank my team, and I want to thank my colleagues, and I want to thank the cleaner, and I want to thank the security guy, and it's like, oh, please stop.
Does that peeve you?
Oh, it peeves me. It's like there's nothing wrong with saying thank you, I'm out of here and I'm going on to something else. But people that can't write concisely can't think concisely, quite frankly. And to me, it's so that is something that annoys me.
Bloody harsh.
And to me, that's
You know
humble
what annoys
brag,
me?
that's wanker.
The biggest thing that annoys me on LinkedIn is when people connect and you connect in good faith.
I know what's
and
coming.
they freaking sell the first thing. I swear to God,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
not try to sell.
Yeah.
And it's not a sell, it's like, would you like this? Can I find 15 minutes to
Yeah.
discuss this with you next week? It was like, no, you can't.
And then what's worse than that? When they keep coming back
keep
to you saying,
coming back.
I know you must be busy and I'm sure that you haven't overlooked me.
Yeah, I had one person, and they come
No
back.
response is
and
a
I've had
response.
I've had this from two different people, exactly the same text. So they're probably using someone to do it.
Yeah.
And it was like after about the third time, it was like, you're probably really busy and you're
You
not
think?
on LinkedIn much. And I just responded back going, I'm not busy and I'm on LinkedIn all the time.
There's two words I've got to say to you, Kel.
Oh my God.
I get
Anyway,
it. I
that's
get
what
it.
peeves me.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's
what
it.
peeves me. So
I'm with
anyway,
you on
if
that.
if you are using LinkedIn, use it properly.
I think the biggest barrier to people using it who are, professionals and who are within that demographic is that they actually don't know what to post.
Yeah.
They don't know how to use it.
So let's talk about how to use it.
how to use it.
All right.
Do you have to post to enjoy LinkedIn and to gain something from
No,
it?
and I think what we would
think you
say is be clear on your purpose. Why are you using
Exactly.
LinkedIn? So you and I are using LinkedIn to increase
Amplify
our
our brands.
profile, amplify the brand, talk about
Share-
our expertise.
and
so if
share
that's what
information
we're
to help
doing,
people.
like to be known for something.
Yeah, sure. And look, it is that for me, but I also feel that there are so many people that couldn't afford a coach. There are so many people that couldn't afford one of your masterclasses here. But that shouldn't stop us sharing insights. Not everything, but certainly stuff that might help others.
Yes.
And we've got a lot of experience. Why wouldn't we share that experience?
Yeah.
I mean, I've gained from other people sharing. So for me, that's the primary reason I use it. And from that, my profile grows and I'm amplified.
Yes.
So it works out
And look,
well.
I say to people, even, in corporates or running their own business or, in small, medium business, big corporates, it was like, what do you want to be known for? And they could be go, well, I want to be known as, an expert in risk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can write stuff around risk.
Correct.
Or you can
just
just comment and share or
Comment.
repost other stuff around risk.
Find people that are writing stuff on risk that you find really fascinating.
Follow
or
them and-
somebody that's not writing something on risk that you could see a comment about risk could really be useful to that particular commentary.
Yeah.
And you will become known for that. You're exactly right. You don't always have to post your own unique content. You can actually share, comment on others.
Absolutely. So it's clear on your purpose.
Yeah.
And your purpose could be, well, I just want to be, maybe there's potential job interviews out there. So that's fine. But again, you still want to be known for
something.
so someone can tap you on the shoulder. Have you thought of that?
Correct.
You and I often joke, we always know when someone's looking for a new job because they just suddenly start posting on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn, all of a
It's
sudden
they
the
go
LinkedIn
from
profile
nothing
goes up.
to posting. So I would say don't wait till you're looking.
No.
If you start posting on LinkedIn because you're looking for a job, you've started
too late.
12 months too late.
It's too late.
So I think you've got to be active. So one is have your purpose.
And can I just add to that, who you work for, whilst that brand might be in alignment with you and your values and you're really proud of working for Google or and one of the big banks or whoever it might be, you are not your employer.
No.
On LinkedIn,
yeah.
Have your own personal brand on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And certainly be aligned to the values of the employer, particularly if you don't want to get cancelled or sacked. But because, work is a transaction. We've spoken about that over and over again. 50-year careers, people re-enter the workforce. That organisation you're with, it's unlikely you will be with forever.
Yeah.
So have your own
I saw
brand.
a quote the other day on LinkedIn, and I forget who it was from, but it said, your employer does not own your LinkedIn profile, you do.
on.
And it is so many people just repost their company stuff, which is boring. Oh my God, your company does not own your LinkedIn profile.
And be careful about wanting to be known as boring, frankly.
true.
So how-to, let's just summarise this. One of the first things I think anyone who's listening to this episode that isn't on LinkedIn as often or wants to improve and build their LinkedIn profile and use it better is observe people that are doing it well in your opinion.
That you like.
That you like.
There's
and
so
watch
many
what they're
there's
doing.
so many people that start their own coaching business, and I always say check out Jack's profile.
Oh, that's very kind.
And
Thank
just
you. Right.
because I say it, she's decided this is what she wants to be known for, and you can see that reflected. I'm saying don't have to do what she does.
Oh, no,
But
no.
yeah, you observe
suit
people
everyone.
that you rate and go, oh yeah, their
I can learn
style,
from them.
Yeah,
I like that. Or
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like that. That is not me. So spend some time observing. Give yourself a week of just looking at different profiles, at different people that are popping up. Maybe ask friends, who do you rate on LinkedIn? Who do you think's good? Who are you following? And check it out. What else could you do?
The other thing I think is you've got to commit to it. So whether it's each day or each week, I would say each day, and that might go, oh, that sounds a lot. You could do 10, 15 minutes and just get in there and comment. If you're following
like
people, you're going to see more of their feeds, comment. But, like if you're only getting in there once a month, like first of all, the LinkedIn algorithm, and it changes all the bloody time, so don't worry about it, but it does not reward people who are only in there once a month. So
once or twice.
the more consistent you are, and we've spoken about habits.
Yeah.
Find 10,
Create
15
a habit.
minutes. Yeah.
And find some time and make a commitment to LinkedIn. Clear on your purpose. You mentioned that before. I think that's so important. Do you want to build a brand? Do you want to find a job? Do you want to enhance your network? Do you want to learn? Do you want to create business opportunities? Whatever the purpose is. And you might say, well, I want to do all of those things. Well, then prioritize what is most important to you right now, and then think about how you could use LinkedIn for that.
Yeah. And I should just say, I have a lot of people that go, oh, people in my industry or company aren't on LinkedIn. And I go, tell me your boss's name. And I have a look and I go, they're on. Give me some name of your colleagues. I search, I go, they're on. And they're surprised that their colleagues and managers are on LinkedIn.
So 15.4 million users in Australia from February 2024 are on LinkedIn in Australia. That is 57.2% of Australia's population.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that
Yeah, and that's
Most
not
people
that's not
are
counting,
on
that's not
LinkedIn,
counting kids.
and that's not
All right,
counting kids,
And then the
no.
final one, and this is, look at your profile.
Oh.
Like have a professional photo we've spoken about. Use the summary. The summary
you.
should be forward looking.
Yep.
If we're talked about job interviews or people, the first thing they're going to see is your photo.
Correct. And then the titles as well.
And the
What you wanna be
potentially-
known for.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be your job title.
No, it does
oh my
not.
God, it doesn't have to be your job title. It could be like passionate about innovation or
we
something.
both coach and advise, and we've got people that we can refer you to who can help you with your LinkedIn profile. So if you're not comfortable doing it yourself, reach out so that we can connect you because it's money worth spending. It's an investment.
Okay. Well, I think that's a lot in one.
I do
little
too.
podcast
I do too.
episode. So we've hope
LinkedIn.
you have found it of value.
Share it if you
Share
have.
it with us. Get in on LinkedIn and tell us.
And if
how
you're a
you
young
liked it.
professional, reach out to us, please. I want to know if you're using it and if you are, what you love about it. If you're not using it, why you're not. This is fascinating for me. It's a social experiment.
Yep, excellent. Okay, keepers, we will speak to you next week.
Bye.
You've been listening to another episode of Keeping It Real with Jack and Rahl. If you like what you've heard, don't forget to tell others about it and give a 5-star review. They may seem confident, but they really are sensitive 5-star needy souls. Yeah, right. Keeping It Real, created by Jack Phillips and Gabriel Dolan. Produced by Keehlan Ferrari-Brown. And this really real voiceover, spoken by Richard Phillips.